In the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call?
Governing Board President, Ms. Patricia Jimenez.
Present.
Governing Board Vice President, Mr. Harry Gerwell.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Mr. Rudy Santa Cruz.
Present.
Governing Board Member, Ms. Maria Hernandez.
Present.
And Governing Board Member, Ms. Maria Guzman, will not be joining us this evening.
Thank you. Next motion to approve the April 23rd, 2026 regular government board meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, call for the vote. Motion carries. Approval of the April 9th, 2026 regular government board meeting minutes with executive session. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, changes? Hearing none, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next is governing board reports. Ms. Hernandez?
I don't have any reports at this time, Madam President. Just want to welcome everyone here this evening
Thank you. Mr. Santa Cruz?
Yeah, I also have no reports, but I want to welcome everybody. Hopefully everybody is rested up for the weekend. We can come pretty soon. You need it because it's getting hot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is myself. I also want to welcome everybody, and I just want to have the privilege of being here at 4 at the graduating program from the American Intercontinental University. I want to congratulate Angel Pablo Martinez from Esperanza. I don't know if he left, huh? Johnny Lopez Hernandez from JB Sutton, Sarah Devore from Pueblo del Sol. I see her here, and you're gonna kill the. How do you say the name?
Mr. Tuari.
Mr. Turari. I'm sorry for Morris Cayuta, Mr. T. I wonder the kids how what they say how. It's great. It's a great program that we have. I know it's a year long. It's great to see them. Like they mentioned earlier, great leaders for our district, and that you decide to stay here at Isaac. So, I thank you for that. I also want to congratulate, or as I guess it's Executive Assistant Appreciation Week. So hopefully all of you guys did something for your assistant. I want to personally want to thank Miss Parea. Miss Parea, I want to thank you for everything that you do for us, especially this board. Your dedication, attention to detail, and steady support, keeping everything running smoothly behind the scenes. You bring professionalism, grace, and reliability to every task. Your work makes a real difference and an ability to serve our community. So I know that you have a dream to fulfill, and I thank you. And I know you're going to do great in everything that you do, but I just want to let you that your work does not go unnoticed. I think the whole board, see how you are very good at what you do. So thank you. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Mr. Garwell.
Yeah, Madam President, I don't have a formal report tonight, but I too want to thank Ms. Beda about all the work that she does for us on behalf of the district for this board and keeping us in line. I also wanted to congratulate all of the um, graduates from the American Intercontinental University. I have a difficult time getting here at 4. Actually have a meeting from 3:30 to 5 on Thursdays before this meeting. So typically I try to get here before, the boards get started. But I did want to congratulate all the graduates and, wish them well in their endeavors and going forward, because I think it's very important for us to be able to support all of our folks here in the district. So with that, Madam President, that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Garwell. Next is Superintendent Update, Dr. Lily Mesalema.
Madam President, members of the board, ISAC community, last Thursday we hosted our annual ISAC Health Fair, which is an important opportunity to connect our employees with resources that support their overall health and well-being. We know that when our staff are healthy, balanced, and supported, they are better able to serve the role as role models for our students and positively impact student outcomes. This year, the theme was Finish Strong, and we had approximately 250 employees in attendance. Staff had access to 20 vendors offering a wide range of benefits, wellness resources, and support for open enrollment for the upcoming year. Biometric screenings were also provided to support informed conversations with staff primary care providers during their annual health visits. New this year was our 1K wellness walk. 20 of our employees participated. The walk was very well received, providing an opportunity for staff to engage in physical activity, enjoying the outdoors, and connecting with their colleagues. I want to give a special thanks to HR for preparing for this event and organizing that, and the committee, although small but mighty committee that supported those efforts. So, and also thank you to Chartwells for providing healthy and tasty snacks. Throughout the year, we continue to provide access to a variety of wellness supports included in our wellness app that functions as a hub for access to a wide range of services. The event reflects our commitment to caring for the whole employee, recognizing that strong staff are essential to a strong schools. Next slide, please. There we go. All right. So last Thursday was also a very, very busy day. In addition to the health fair, we also had the last Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, or SAC as we call it. That was the last meeting, and the council brings together middle school students, leaders from across the district to develop their leadership skills and engage in meaningful civic participation. Through the experience in SAC, students have the opportunity to share their perspectives, collaborate with other students, and make and influence a positive change within their schools and community. It has been very inspiring to see them grow, particularly those in 8th grade that have been there for multiple years. And thank you to Ms. Preston for coordinating and leading that effort as well, and for the school leaders who have ensured that our students had the opportunity to participate in those meetings. Lastly, as I have shared in previous updates, the Heart of ISAC remains a very strong in spirit, but has needed some physical updates to revitalize the place. So thanks to the general support of Chasey Building Team, ABM, and Progressive Roofing, along with the dedication of volunteers led by Mr. Servin, as I have shared before, we have completed that first phase of this transformation. And I would like to invite the board and the community to see a short video that captures this initial work in action. And this is just the beginning, because a second phase is already underway, and I look forward to sharing more as that work is completed.
Most people see a house being painted, but for us, this is a foundation being reinforced. Beyond the brushes and the ladders lies a deeper mission, building a strong community with thriving, healthy families where parents are supported and equipped to nurture their children's academic and life success. This project isn't just about aesthetics. It's a physical reflection of the care and respect we hold for the Isaac School District. By refreshing this casita, we are signaling a new chapter, one where our environment captures the incredible spirit and success of the community inside.
So Heart of Isaac was donated to the Isaac School District and was used as a family literacy for our families, specifically serving our preschool families. Around 2017, with a group of leaders and community at large, they came together to open a resource center for our school district. So they truly, in the sense of community, came together. Some of those basic needs that were at the beginning of the years of Heart of Isaac exist still today, but through the years and being able to evolve, partnerships have came from that, where we now have a full wall of resources for families. And every year we're continuing to expand our community partners to ensure that we're answering to the needs of our community.
With the generous support of First Things First grant funding, the strong partnership of Isaac School District, and the unwavering dedication of our amazing volunteers, Heart of Isaac has grown into something truly special.
But some of our larger organizations, you can think of the Phoenix Children's Hospital, you can think of St. Mary's that does a food bag for our families, but also through a new partnership through our staff, Ms. Labra, we now have a mobile pantry. You can think of the facelift that Heart of Isaac has had through Ms. Diana, right, and her connections through the number of volunteers that help package the St. Mary mobile food bags. So it's truly an evolving list of strong community partners, but you start from volunteers all the way to the right and same organizations that have the same mission, which is to support our families.
Tengo como 6 meses de estar viniendo más o menos a los recursos porque la Casita Azul da muchos recursos y todos son bienvenidos. So vine para el corte de cabello que están dando ahora aquí en la Casita Azul. He venido cuando vienen los de salud, cuando hacen recursos atrás de la casita, adentro de la casita, dan ropa gratis, comida para perros, para gatos, recursos de salud, de alimentación y de educación.
So the Heart of Isaac, and through the vision of the district and the pillar, right, to respond to our community engagement, in the past it was very focused on the social components of what a family means. Over the years, it has evolved. I would say that you are still going to find the same number of social services that we offer in connections to families. I think one thing that we're doing differently and in the best for our community is the educational component. We've always done it, but I think there's a better opportunity to think of things specifically. So the reading components, the early literacy that happens that should be taking place with our families. There's a more of a highlight on those current topics or matters that are important to our community because they are the number one teachers. They do make the difference in their child. And so we don't want them to always just think of this as a place where they can receive a service, which absolutely that's what we're doing, but we want them to stay.
We're proud to be supporting so many families at the Heart of Isaac this year. During the summer months, we serve an average of about 52 families per month. That number grows significantly in the fall, rising to around 106 families monthly. Since the start of the year, we continue assisting an average of 66 families each month. Overall, we're reaching approximately 224 families each quarter. Some of the services most requested by our families include food bags, car seat assistance, and access applications assistance through Chicanos por la Causa.
Heart of Isaac has received a beautiful repainting, a resurfacing of what the Casita Azul is. And so after these many years of being in service, I think the coat represents a fresh start and a focus of not only the social components, but we strive to be their second home, somewhere where they feel that when there is a need or just a place where they may feel comfortable to ask the question that this may be in. When you think about the classes and the workshops that take place here, I think we think about, we want to answer those social important questions, right? A child can't learn if they're hungry, if they're gonna have a bed or a roof over their head. The second question is, how do we make a shift for them through an education class? As simple as ensuring that our kids are riding in car seats and making sure that they know where they can get a food bag. So that fresh coat truly represents a new beginning, a shift of where we're headed, right? We've done the social components, we're great at doing those pieces, but let's now start evolving the families. And it's also a welcoming and a new beginning to new families. I think there is a revolving number of families that already know the Resource Center very well, but there is still a large number of families that are not aware that there's a Resource Center and that you don't need to be part of an Isaac school in order for you to participate. The Resource Center is meant to serve our community at large. So there's a lot of great community partners, internal partners, our district who is in full support, our board who is in full support of the work that we do here. And I think about the volunteers also. So this has been one of the best years when we've seen a strong core group of volunteers that are participating, from helping us bag to helping us organize to helping us welcome and greet families to their own resource center. A lot of great things, and always open to other partnerships that align with our district pillars, but mostly importantly with First Things First. To any new families within our Isaac district and our Isaac community at large, I would say come and visit us. This is your home as well. This truly will only thrive based on their participation. We want them to think of us when there might be a time of need, but we also want them to think of us when there's a place where they're looking for a friendly smile, items that they may not know that exist, or resources that they may not know that exist. So to those new communities, to the new year, to the new fresh beginnings of Heart of Isaac, I would say come and visit us and come and make this your second home, and the door's always open for them. Again, we cannot thrive without our families being involved.
And this project is very timely. Dr. Harris will be presenting later on about our audit with ADE. And I do have to say that the Heart of Isaac and the work that Marcela has been doing with parent engagement was one of the highlights that they provided. That, Madam President, concludes my report.
Thank you. Before we move on really quick, Marcela and Jose, I applaud you again. You guys did a great, great job. I know that we looked at the video in the past in 20 something and we needed an update. So thank you very much. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lilly. Next is new business information and discussion and action. Grants update and programmatic monitoring audit finding summary. Dr. Erin Harris, Director of Federal Grants and Programs, information and discussion.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the governing board, Dr. Mesalema, members of the Isaac community. This evening, I will be providing grant updates, one from the programmatic monitoring that was shared back in January with the governing board and community, and the FY27 grant updates will be providing the financials and the next steps for FY27. We'll start with the FY26 programmatic monitoring. As I shared back in January, ADE selected Isaac to participate in programmatic monitoring. And one of the questions that was asked by the board and staff was why Isaac. We were selected by ADE not because of any wrongdoing or anything that has happened in the past. It was an equitable process where so many districts had to be selected for monitoring. And so Isaac was selected for monitoring. And this was a 2-day process. There were 2 teams. There were 4 members from ADE. They split the district in half, and 2 members went to 4 schools, and the other 2 went to the other 4 schools. And they visited the sites during those 2 days, and it lasted 2 to 3 hours. Dr. Lawton and I, we split the visit, and we stayed with ADE throughout the 2-day visit. But it started with the visit of the district staff, and they met with district staff who were paid out of the grant. And that was, again, the purpose of the monitoring, to see, as I shared before, where are the funds being expended in the grant. So they wanted to see it in action to make sure that we were in compliance with what has been approved by ADE. And so they wanted to see the highlights and the strengths. They want to partner with us, and they did provide these opportunities for continuous improvement. So today, ADE met with us, the programmatic monitoring unit, minus one of the members who had a previous engagement, but they met with us and provided the strengths and the opportunities for growth. So here on this slide, there are 10 requirements that I shared before that we were being monitored on. And I'm not going to go through each one, but I'll give you the highlights of of the monitoring. It started out with our stakeholder planning team and how we review and how we monitor our plan based on student data. And with this plan, with the monitoring, they wanted to see that we were involving all stakeholders in the creation of the plans with the budget. As I shared before, this is public money. There's public perception, so we have to ensure that there's public voice. So from the monitoring of the teams and the planning, it goes to our goals and action steps for our integrated action plans for the district as well as the sites. Our transition plans transition from preschool to kinder, kinder to middle, middle to high school. McKinney-Vento goes to our parent engagement that has been highlighted through Dr. Salema's presentation. We'll go into that a little bit more. Our parent involvement from the PAC to the parent compact, how parents are involved with the child's education, the administration, and the students. Requirement 13, our mandatory professional development and trainings, and our staff evaluation and support. So the highlights are in green and yellow. As I said earlier, we had to submit information to ADE through the desktop first. And so they reviewed our submissions, and the requirements that are in green were approved by ADE, and the requirements that are in yellow, they're asking for further documentation. So we met today with Cabinet and ADE, and we will be meeting tomorrow to meet with the stakeholders to prepare the updated last submission to ADE for review and acceptance. And this part of the monitoring is due May 7th. So we have to submit our updates to ADE by May 7th. But we'll start with the strengths. And this is hot off the press. This just came out today. We just received this information today from ADE. They went through each of those main requirements that I shared the previous slide. They highlighted our integrated action plans. They highlighted the parent engagement. They highlighted our partnerships with ASU, the Heart of Isaac, the work that Marcella and her team, the parent educators, thank you, are doing for our students. And our student data specialist, Ms. Rana Pakel, she's paid out of Title I. Student data specialist highlighted her work at what she's doing at the district level and how data is prepared for sites and how she's supporting sites with their data. The tutoring opportunities. This is an increase in our Title I budget because we don't have the 21st Century Grant any longer. So our tutoring budget has increased in the Title I grant, and they wanted to see and talk to staff to ensure that we are implementing a tutoring program with fidelity and that we have success with it. Again, the Heart of Isaac, our McKinney-Vento program, they were very pleased with Ms. Grant with her work with our students and families in transition and the partnerships that she has with local shelters and hotels. And then last, they highlighted the work of our academic coaches. Each site has an academic coach, and it's a part of their Title I budget and plan. And they highlighted how the academic coaches support you principals with your professional development, teachers, and the paraprofessionals. Now, the areas of opportunity and for continuous improvement, we looked at this as a positive. As they went out and they met with the sites, they saw great things that were happening at the sites, and they felt that we should come together and have more consistency in the deliverance of our programs because, again, each site has things that are unique to their program that other sites, other staff could benefit from. So the coaching, the data collection, we have opportunities for parent walkthroughs that were highlighted at some of the campuses. And there was even a curriculum showcase that was highlighted by ADE that they felt all campuses should have. So we're also looking at the standard operating procedures for a McKinney-Vento program. When, again, students and families go into transition, that is consistent across the district. Our communication to families and how we share our data, and overall more consistency. So we didn't have any findings for things that we're not doing. They aren't going to take any money from us, but we do have to submit our updates by May 7th in order to be compliant and not develop a corrective action plan. So there are the 4 requirements that we are meeting tomorrow to develop our plan and our submission. Now we're going to go into the FY27 grants. These are the grants for school year 26-27. These are the preliminary allocations that were given to us by the Department of Education. And these are our entitlement grants, Title 1, 2, 3, 4, and our IDA basic and preschool grant. I share with you the FY26 allocation and the 27 allocation so that you can see the difference in funding for FY27, school year 26-27. With this, it's about $506,090 that we will not have this school year. But as we move into the next steps, we looked at our programming for 26. We looked at the staffing at your sites that we did not hire for. And so we will be able to make this difference up with the staffing and unspent funding and professional development. So we are reviewing allocations and we're comparing the FY26 funding levels. Each site is currently going through their needs assessment process. They're developing their integrated action plans, developing their must-haves for school year 26-27. And it's our job to support those needs with funding to ensure that they can carry out their program in reading and math in order to improve student outcomes. Again, the highlight from ADE was the collaboration, the involvement of all stakeholders. That's continuing. We have a leadership meeting tomorrow where staff will work to finalize their plan. And then next week, we'll begin our budget meetings because we want to ensure that the needs are developed first before the budget is given. And then we will submit our FY27 grant applications to the department by May 15th, next month. This concludes my presentation of the programmatic monitoring update, as well as the FY27 allocations. This time, I'll address any questions from the board.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions?
I do, Madam President.
Hernandez?
Mr. Harris, because of the short deadline that they're giving you to make this report that's going to come up here May 7th or whatever, how do you feel that's realistic to have a positive impact, on the outcome of that?
I feel very positive. We met with Dr. Mesalema and Mr. Serban today. To be honest, a lot of the information was already in the submission. So we have to go back and really identify the area where the information is for McKinney-Vento for our professional development, really identify the areas that they're looking for in order to meet compliance.
Okay.
So we're not going to have to create anything. It's programs things that we already have in place.
Oh,
Member
good.
Hernandez.
And second question I have is any of this gonna, this difference in our budget now of this grants, does that gonna affect any of our special ed programs or our special ed department?
No, it will not impact any programs in the department because currently the department, they're utilizing the FY26 funding and the carryover from FY25. And so the 25 funding is to help supplement the program. And currently in FY26, with their operating budget, they'll have carryover for next year. So they will still be able to carry out the level of programming. Ms. Elena's not here, but we're working together on her needs.
Yeah, well, I got to go out yesterday for a few schools that I got to visit, and I saw a lot of positive
Thank you.
special ed programs going. The teachers are fantastic, the staff, the principals, they're all up to par in every way that they can. So I would like to see those programs and those things continue. So I was kind of concerned when I saw these differences in these grants because I was like, oh no, I hope it doesn't affect that department. I mean, I want all of it for the best reasons, but special ed is one of my
Yes.
close to heart, so and I want to thank those teachers that were here that I was able to and principals to visit your sites. I was very pleased, so keep up the good work. And that should be it. Thank you, Madam President.
Does anybody else have questions? Mr. Garwell?
Yeah, Madam President, just an observation, Dr. Harris, when you take a look at the monitoring slide, you might want to go back and just correct the number sequence on there because it was a little confusing when you were saying there's 10 and it indicates there's 14.
Yes, Member Garewal, there are 10 requirements here.
Right.
It does go to 14, but there are some of the requirements that we were not monitored on.
Oh, okay.
But
All
yes,
right.
So
Well,
I'm
that
missing
clarifies.
numbers, but it was not a typo. We have 10 requirements we were monitored on, but there's 14 altogether.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then just one other observation, and like Ms. Fernandez says, I've always been someone that keeps an eye on IDEA. The fact that we've reduced the grants from IDEA when the federal government hasn't even lived up to its obligation to us. I think we're still right around 18% of the 45% or whatever that we were supposed to have gotten when the act was passed. So if you do that cumulative over the period of the time since the act was enacted, there's multi-million dollars, that districts did not receive as a result of the underfunding by the federal government. So when we hear that the Department of Education is being reviewed again and that there are changes going on, it really begs the question about going back and having the federal government fulfill its obligation to all schools. So those are the kinds of things that I think are very important for us to point out and really keep pressing on to get us the funding that we need. Hard enough that we don't have the Title I and the other ones as well. But in particular, IDEA has always been underfunded. So I will raise that issue at every opportunity I get, just because I want to make sure it's always on the record. And when I sit down and talk to any of our elected officials, I make sure that they understand that as well. Because at some point, hopefully, we can get this put up to 100%, which I'm not holding my breath on, but we continue to press on to it. So thank you with that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Harris, can you please go to slide the monitoring slide? I have a couple of questions. We're going to start with the first one. What does MV stand for?
Yes, I'm sorry for the abbreviation. MV stands for McKinney-Vento.
For what?
McKinney-Vento,
What's that?
that is the government act for students and families in transition.
Okay, the second question, communication to families regarding sharing student data progress with families. How are you going to do this and how often and which families?
Well, this is for all. That's a great question. Communication, the data to all families. And again, during the interviews, there were sites that are shining in this area. They all are, but some in their interview responses highlighted how they share data. And so we're looking at all of the responses from each site, working with Dr. Lawton, TNL to come together to share the feedback from each site interview to hopefully bring the consistency to all sites so that one site, if they're sharing a certain way, all sites will in the end.
How often are you going to be doing this?
Excuse me?
How often?
Well, it just depends on the feedback that we give to the sites and then collectively how it's going to look, how the data reporting will look.
Coaching. Who's coaching? Who will you be coaching? Or you mentioned coaching. Can you go into detail? So my question on coaching, data collection, opportunity for parents and walkthroughs. My question is how, when, where, and who?
Yes, coaching. The coaches are in the TNL department. Dr. Lawton provides the support for our coaches. Again, it was in the monitoring because each site has an academic coach. So we have learning specialists in Title I, Title II, and they are working with the coaches to support the needs at the site level.
And how often are you going to be working with the coaches?
Well, we'll be working more frequently now because through the monitoring, we have to ensure this consistency that they are doing the work that's being approved in the grant.
How often are you going to collect the data collection?
Well, we have our quarterly and semester data. We have our BOY, we have our MOY, we have our EOY. So right now we're looking at the data in order to develop the plans and the goals. Now each site has their own benchmarks, and so this we'll have to work with the sites and the coaches to collect that data from within. But the district standard, we will monitor the benchmarks. But the sites, they have their benchmarks, so their coaches and the site leaders will be responsible for that data collection and the dissemination of it at their site.
And go into further detail, opportunities for parents to walk through. What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
Yes, this was one of the responses from one of the site interviews, that parents have the opportunities to walk through the classrooms with site administration.
And how are you going to inform the parents that they have those opportunities?
Well, we'll be working with Ms. Lopez. We haven't shared out the feedback to all of the stakeholders yet. This has just come in. So it's sharing it out, sharing these highlights, and then really highlighting that school that's responsible for this. How are they implementing this? And again, ensuring that it's going across the district, because ADE wants to see consistency at each site.
And Madam President, if I may add, the coaching, data collection, the opportunities for parent walkthroughs and curriculum showcases were examples of things that they saw at some of the sites that they are highlighting as exemplary, and they hope that we collaborate and learn from one another to build the consistency. So the coaching, data collection, and opportunities for parent walkthroughs, curriculum showcases, were just examples of things that they heard from the various schools as unique. Although we know coaching is not unique, we do coaching all across, but perhaps in some of those interviews, maybe there was a coach that highlighted more of the work that they do, and they're just hoping that they see more consistency of those elements across the schools.
So is this going to be available? You mentioned the plan. Is this going to be available for us to see the plan? And I know that we talked about before, an area improvement is communication, and it talks here in several of the slides. So is there going to be a plan that you're going to be sharing also with the board with all this information of that I've been asking, how, when, who, or of everything that we're going to do?
Yes, I'll be more than happy to do that. The next step will be to share this feedback from ADE with the stakeholders, and then from within, we will develop our plan and be more than happy to share this out, because as I stated, these are the main requirements that every school district in Arizona are being held accountable for. And in order to operate the school-wide Title I program at the sites, we must ensure that all of these components are implemented. So we definitely can come back and share a plan for each of the requirements to the governing board, if that's what you request.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have approve of the annual district leadership reorganization 2026-2027. Dr. Lila Mesa Lema, interim superintendent, information discussion and agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Lila Mesa.
Madam President, members of the board, ISAC community, the next item on the agenda is the district reorganization proposal. The proposal reflects a few minor adjustments at the district level to better align our structure with our current needs and priorities. I will also share key staffing enhancements at the school level. The changes are intended to strengthen internal alignment, clarify our roles, and ensure that we're providing the most effective support to our schools while continuing to operate efficiently and within our means. At this time, I will walk you through the proposed adjustments for your consideration. Under the Office of the Superintendent, there are no organizational changes. The executive assistant will have a reduction in load in order to focus on governing board and some key executive tasks. We will maintain the superintendent's cabinet and the executive team that also includes the representation from schools to build the vision of the schools and the district. In our business department, has a proposed staff transfer due to a reduction to one accounts payable clerk to fill the receptionist position. Within the Human Resources Department, we have the addition of an administrative assistant who will be a shared role with the Office of the Superintendent to cover the administrative tasks, and a restructure of the director overseeing the receptionist and the human resource specialist. Within teaching and learning, this is the department with the biggest restructure, as it was where the biggest cost saving came from the reduction in force at the district level last year. So as we build strong foundations and continue to meet the level of internal and external requirements for the quality of education we aim to provide our students with, we have restructured the role of the extended coordinator to encompass the curriculum and instruction coordinator tasks and the district tasks that need to be completed and executed so that we can stay compliant. Student services was another area where looking at feedback from stakeholders and the functioning of the department required us to move away from the structure of a coordinator of special education to a director of special education to oversee all aspects of special education and related services. The addition of the exceptional student services specialist, who will also closely work with the director in implementing special education services and providing professional development. Through the Title IV funding, we're also proposing the addition of a gifted teacher who will provide gifted services to our students. Under the support services department, this department also stays very consistent with the structure that they had this year, except for the addition of a mechanic level 1 that will provide regular maintenance to our school buses and district vehicles and help us create cost savings by providing the maintenance services in-house rather than having to outsource these services, and also help us prevent issues before major repairs are needed. The technology department remains with the same structure and staffing as it was approved by the board last year. And the same thing with the family and community engagement department. There are no changes to structure or staffing. Across all departments, this organizational chart proposes 4 new positions, 2 redefined positions, and 1 reduction consistent of a transfer to fill that critical vacancy on the reception. Lastly, I wanted to share that our schools, we have also some additions of 3 TOSAs for the 3 schools that did not have a TOSA or an assistant principal this year. That includes Mitchell, Zito, and Esperanza. We're also proposing the addition of resident educators, 16 positions that will help us with class coverage and substituting classes. As we know, we contract with substitute services. These individuals will be permanently at the sites and or support substituting needs across the district. Therefore, helping us reduce costs with substituting, but most importantly, helping us maintain continuity of education for classrooms when a teacher is not present. And lastly, the addition of the lunch monitors was something that we brought halfway through the year that we will continue for next year. Lunch monitors during the middle of the day play a critical role in our schools in helping with supervision, and there are 2 per school site. Once we have completed the organizational chart with individual names and roles, we will bring this information back to you and share the cost projections and funding sources. At this time, I may take any questions from the board related to the reorganization.
Board has any questions? Mr. Garwell?
Yeah. Just a quick question, Dr. Lema, and I know that you probably sat with the receiver and our CFO in regards to the additional 35 positions. So I understand as far as the resident educators, I know that's probably a cost savings just because the substitute hourly rate is much higher than we would have for FTE. And then the launch monitors, I think that's pretty important, because our students are always, in and out, moving around. The TOSAs, I'm a little confused about. Maybe I just don't understand what really the function of a TOSA. I know what they are, but the function, the functionality of them. And the reason I bring this up is because where we're at today currently, for the general public to take a look and say, wow, they're putting on 35 new positions. I think it's important for us to educate our community that, these are things that have been taken into consideration by our receiver, by our CFO, and by yourself, that, these absolutely are necessary and that we're able to maintain them going forward.
And that's the critical question. Are we able to maintain them moving forward? And yes, this was something that was looked at alongside Mr. Kenny, Mr. Servant, the entire cabinet, and stemming from listening tours beginning in December, our survey, as well as looking at the needs that we currently have going into the year. Anything else you would
Yeah,
like to add?
and just from the financial aspect of it, the question I attempt to answer. The residential educators, it's a trade-off. Shouldn't be any additional cost. Hopefully, some cost savings because we're replacing substitute teachers that we need a lot of substitute teachers every day. So these will more than likely fill that role. It also will give some consistency, with the district in the sense that if a teacher leaves or something, these jobs may turn into permanent positions too at some point and stuff there for a role. So there's not an additional cost there. From the monitoring is a part-time position. It's not it's not things, and it will be paid out of the cafeteria, the lunch revenues funds that we have, and we've been doing really well in that, making money. So it's not going to affect our M&O and stuff there. So that that the only additional costs are really the TOSAs, and my understanding is that that's been difficult for the schools there to meet the disciplinary needs and everything, the principals and stuff there to meet all the demands and stuff on the role. So the TOSA is sort of like an assistant principal, basically, and so they'll take on some of those roles of the disciplinary for the school and doing some of the other things there. So we thought that would be it would help the principals that are overloaded there in the sense there. So that's the reason that we're adding those.
So just to be clear, so on the TOSAs, there's not a requirement for certificate for principalship or anything like that. It's a position that helps to supplement or augment, right, what's already needed there on the campuses. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
I was also going to ask that, but also on the human resource department, we don't have an administrative assistant because I know that's a new position. We don't have one. How long have we not had one?
That was also impacted actually before the reduction in force, so we haven't had one. We did some reorg, reorg within the department to really fit the needs, but we also know that's a critical role for human resources. So
Oh, okay. And then on the teaching and learning, how is a gifted teacher going to work? I know that we talked about that before. We mentioned we were talking about we don't have gifted. So is the students going to go to this teacher, or can you guys clarify how is that going to work?
Yes, Madam President. The plan that we're looking at is that the gifted teacher would be traveling around to the schools and perhaps spending like a half of a day at each one of the schools over the course of the week and working in some format with the students, meeting the needs of the students at each school. So they would have a direct impact on those gifted students that are identified.
And this is for the next school year, correct? Oh, this is for okay.
Yes.
And I think that's all the questions that I had. Any further questions? No? Okay, call for the vote. And once they're filled, you are going to put the names in there, correct? We'll get the names?
Yes, Madam
Okay,
President.
thank you. Okay, motion carries. Next, proposal to revise school calendar 2026-2027 to rename the district holiday. Ms. Silvia Carrizosa, Executive Director for Employee Relations, Information, Discussion, and Action. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Carrizosa?
Good evening, Madam President.
governing board members, Dr. Lilly and Isaac Community. The calendar committee reconvened specifically to evaluate whether to remove or rename the Cesar Chavez March 31st holiday. After careful review, we recommend a name change to Farmer Workers Day for the 26-27 calendar. This shift follows the lead of the state of Arizona and some of the neighboring districts, ensuring our calendar remains consistent with regional standards. We recommend that the board approve this name change for all future calendars.
Okay, does the board have any questions? Hearing none, call for the vote. Let's see. It's cold in here. Okay, motion carries. Next, we have, give me 1 second, approval of superintendent contract, Dr. Lily Mesa Lema, fiscal year 2026-2028. Dr. Lily Mesa Lema, information, discussion, and action. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Mesa Lema? Or do you guys have any questions? Regarding, I know you received the information. Have any questions, Mr. Carroll, Ms. Hernandez, Santa Cruz?
Just a comment, I think we went through a fair and equitable process in order to get where we're at today. I'm just happy that we were able to come to an agreement here and look forward to having Dr. Lema, be the leader of our community and our school here. And, looking very, very much forward to it, that we will continue to move forward and um, address the issues that are in front of us, but it's going to be a little bit of a haul just because we still have some issues and things that we need to take care of. But I'm confident that we'll be able to get there over the next year, 2 years, as we're moving forward.
Thank you. I also want to express my support for the approval of Ms. Dr. Lily Mesa Lema's contract. She already demonstrated strong leadership during a very challenging time to our district. Her commitment to our students, staff, and community has been clear. While I understand that some had hoped for a superintendent search, given our current financial situation, it would not have been practical. At this time, stability and continuity are critical, and Dr. Mesa Lema provided that. I also believe it's important that she continues to be supported and mentored by our receiver and our new CFO to ensure her continued success. For those reasons, I support in moving forward for 2 years with Dr. Lilly. So, call for the vote. Okay, motion carries, and congratulations. Officially take you off as an interim. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you want to say something before we move on?
Absolutely.
Time,
I
give you the
want
time.
to thank you for the continued trust and confidence placed in me as I serve in this role as superintendent of the Isaac School District. And I want all of you to know that I stepped into this role with the same level of responsibility that I did in January 2025, almost a year and a half ago, when I was named interim. And that commitment to lead with transparency, to listen, to continue to rebuild the trust and ensure that every single one of our students receives the opportunities and the education that they deserve, it's still there. And as we continue to move forward, I am committed to carrying the vision that the board has set for our district and continue to build a strong district that is sustainable and that delivers on the promises that we have for our students. I am especially thankful, yes, to the board, but also to the staff members that stuck with us through these difficult times, for that commitment and showing up every day for our students. Thank you for that. And we have very important work ahead, and I am honored to continue to work alongside all of you.
Thank you. Okay, next, adoption of the second reading and possible adoption of policy book section JJC through JRR. Dr. Lily Mesa Lema, interim superintendent, information, discussion, and action. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Mesa Lema.
Madam President, members of the board and ISAC community, uh, I bring to you Section J. I know this is the moment you have all been waiting for this agenda item. I bring the second reading of the last part of Section J, titled Students, one of our longest ones, policies JJC through JRR. This is a long section, and we have chunked it in two parts. The second reading encompasses the revisions outlined during the first reading and is now presented to you, followed by discussion and possible approval. Policies with clarifying language updates include JLRB. The following policies have major updates in terms of model policy adoption and or content revisions. That includes policy JJE, policy JJIB, policy JJIBR, policy JJIBEA, policy JJIBEB, policy JK, policy JKD, JKE, policy JLCB, policy JLCBR, policy JLCBE, policy JLCC, policy JLCD, policy JLCDR, policy JLDA, policy JLF, policy JLIF, policy JQ, JR, JRR, JRR, and policies with exhibits updated or including legal references or website revisions include policy JL. The rest of the policies as outlined has no changes. And that concludes the second reading of the second part of Section J.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next, adoption of first reading policy book section K. Dr. Lila Mesa Lema, interim superintendent, information, discussion, and action. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Mesa Lema.
Madam President, members of the Board, ISAC community, I bring you the first reading of policy section K, titled School Community Relations. As it is the case for all previous first reads, I will present the summary of all changes, followed by the board's discussion and a request to approve the first read for this particular section. Policy KA maintains the current policy. There are no changes. Policy KB adopts the recommendation from the model policy while maintaining current language with a few clarifying revisions. Policy KBR adopts the recommendations from the model policy. Policy KBEA maintains the current exhibit. Policy KBEB adopts the recommendation from the model policy for sections O, P, and Q. Policy KCCA maintains the current policy. Policy KCD maintains the current policy. Policy KCDR maintains the current regulation. Policy KD maintains the current policy. Policy KDB maintains the current policy. Policy KDBR adopts the recommendations from the model policy and includes the district contact and acknowledgement receipt and timeline. Policy KDBE adopts the recommended language from the model policy. Policy KDC maintains the current policy. Policy KDCA maintains the current policy. KDD maintains the current policy. Policy KDDA maintains the current policy. Policy KE maintains the current policy. Policy KER maintains the current regulation. Policy KEE maintains the current exhibit. Policy KEB maintains the current policy. Policy KEBR maintains the current regulation. Policy KEBE maintains the current exhibit. Policy KEC adopts the recommended language from the model policy, clarifying language and updates cross-references. Policy KECE maintains the current exhibit. Policy KED maintains the current policy. Policy KEDR maintains the current regulation. Policy KEDE maintains the current exhibit. Policy KF maintains the current policy. Policy KFRA maintains the current regulation. Policy KFRB maintains the current regulation. Policy KFEA adopts the recommended language from the model policy. Policy KFEB maintains the current exhibit. Policy KFEC maintains the current exhibit. Policy KFA maintains the current policy. Policy KH maintains the previously adopted language. Policy KHA maintains the current policy. Policy KHB maintains the current policy. Policy KHC maintains the current policy. Policy KHCE maintains the current exhibit. Policy KI adopts the recommended language from the model policy. Policy KIR adopts the recommended language from the model policy. Policy KJA adds and adopts a new policy based on the recommended model, as no such policy currently exists in the district. Policy KL maintains the current policy. And that concludes that first reading of Section K.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board? Okay, call for the vote. Motion carries. Next is adoption of first reading of policy book section L. Dr. Lila Mesalema, interim superintendent, information, discussion, and action. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Dr. Mesalema.
Madam President, members of the board, Isaac Community, Section L is the last section of our policy book. It's titled Education Agency Relations. And since we're revising the whole policy book, I bring the section for your review as a first reading. However, there are no recommended changes to any of the 8 policies within this section. I welcome your discussion for my request to approve the first read for this particular section.
Do you have any questions? No, it's almost 6 o'clock. Okay, call for the vote. Okay, motion carries. Now do I have approval of the whole consent agenda? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, call for the vote. Okay, motion carries. Next, we have call to the public. Ms. Perea?
Madam President, this evening we have no request to address the governing board.
Thank you. Next, we have your enrollment. We have the sum of ADM enrollment 4,624, average daily memberships 3,859, average daily attendance 3,790. Enrollment is 4,173. Calendar, Parent Advisory Council PAC meeting Monday, April 27th, 5 p.m. here at the district office, Isaac Elementary School District retirement ceremony. Thursday, April 14th at 5 p.m. May 14th at do we have a meeting that day too? May 14th? Yeah, at 5 p.m. at Isaac Elementary School District. Okay, just clarifying. Okay, May 14th. Okay. Okay, next governing board meeting will be Thursday, May 14th. That's what I was saying. Okay, I'm sorry. I saw the time and I'm like, okay, same day. but I mean, we're gonna be able to attend.
Be here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so if I don't hear any objections, meeting adjourned. Also,